Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. Imagine going from a 48 ETH profit to a 48 ETH loss in one tweet. Now, the price of ETH is constantly moving up and down, but either way, wherever it is by the time you're listening to it, that is a lot of money. So, how could this possibly happen? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, as usual, I'm at work listening to Twitter Spaces in one ear during my day job. Of course, that is how I keep my sanity when I'm away from Web3. After that space finished, I decided to just scroll down my newsfeed really quick, see what kind of news just happens to pop up. Maybe I'll see something interesting before hopping into another space. And I see this tweet. It says, Otherdeed number 49395 has been for sale for 50 ETH, but it has a few offers for 96 ETH. The owner is oblivious, and the offers are from Chinese retail. Maybe he thinks that is an emerald egg is a coda, literally a free flip of 2x for anyone with enough liquidity. Now that sounds like the deal of a lifetime, doesn't it? Well, I always say, and a lot of people always say, if it sounds too good to be true, guess what? It probably is. So I go to message this user and say, you know what, be very careful. Something doesn't seem right. The floor price of this thing is under 2 ETH. So why would this be selling for 50 ETH? And who would just overlook that, right? A 98 ETH offer is actually on there. It says 96, but there's a 98 ETH when I actually go and look at it. And I was like, nah, something is definitely not right here. So being the good Samaritan that I am, of course, I go to comment on this thing to warn this person, whether it's a guy or a girl, I don't know. And guess what? A little warning comes up and says, only people that the poster has mentioned in this can reply. I was like, okay, that's a little weird, right? I've never seen that before. So I go and I start to look and see who has replied to it, who has commented it, because I see a lot of engagement happening, right? At the point of recording this, it was over 3,000 or 4,000 quoted tweets. There's 100 and some odd, almost 200 retweets, likes, and all sorts of engagement. I was like, okay, this is really weird. So I go and I read the comments and I was like, wait a minute, these are all positive comments. And like, not one person here has anything negative to say. I was like, this is really fishy. Some red flags are going off here. So then I go in and I actually check it and I said, you know what? These guys are definitely fake accounts because I'm looking at them. Some have 20 followers. Some of them have no tweets. They're like no followers, no engagement whatsoever. But yet they hop onto this thing and it's a whole bunch of positive posting, like saying, oh man, well, let me just read a couple of these for you. Someone loaned me 50 ETH. About to sell my NFTs to flip this. But then again, what's a coda? Okay, that sounds kind of realistic. Throw one in there, not to have everybody in there. Then someone says, this isn't even a coda. Bro, who has that much liquidity? And then quite a few other ones. So people are putting up these comments up here, and I should say people. This is just all fishy all around. However, I'm going to get to what my theory is for that. So yes, no negative comments whatsoever. So at this point now, all of my antennas, my spidey senses, if you will, are going off. I was like, no, something's definitely not right. I decided to go to it. I look on it on OpenSea, pull it up, and guess what? This thing sold just a few hours ago for 1.8 ETH. Now it's listed for sale for 50 ETH. So I'm like, all right, something's definitely up here. I'm willing to bet that all of those comments are from the same person, and that is a person who currently owns it, even the main tweet, everything. Either A, they're all working together, or the most likely scenario is that it is one person doing all of this. And I said, well, isn't this something? If someone actually FOMOs into this, rides the emotion train, and hops into this thing thinking, oh man, I can make 48 ETH really quick, I can flip this. You know, it's, of course, you just buy it for that 50 ETH and then accept that 98 ETH or the 96 offer, then just like that, easy money, right? So I was thinking, you know what? Most likely what's going to happen is as soon as someone buys this for 50 ETH, those offers are going to be withdrawn because they control that. But when I go to OpenSea, it's even worse than that. I go to click the account that has made the offers and I see it warning from OpenSea. It says your account has been disabled due to activity that goes against terms and services. This means you can no longer access OpenSea with your account, and goes on and on and on and say that this is currently banned, right? So I was like, okay, this is really weird now. So I'm going back to the page and I see this again, engagement is going through the roof. And here we go. Most likely this whole thing was set up from day one. This person, as I said, is trying to just make a quick flip. Oh, and just another thing to notice with this whole profile that is doing the tweeting for this, prior to July 11th, which is a month and a half ago, Every single tweet on this profile was about animals. But just within the last couple days, it starts to do a whole bunch of NFT tweets. The profile picture is an NFT. The bio is an NFT. But guess what? This is not an NFT profile. So most likely what happened was this person fished or got into this account in one way or another, hijacked it from the original person, and is using it to do this scam. So this is a professional. But here's the thing that really bothers me about this. Now, I'm never against someone who is trying to make enough money to eat a meal. I mean, it is hard around the world, right? Because although, yes, I have my American accent, I grew up in New York and what have you, I'm currently on the island of Jamaica, right? And trust me, I know things are hard, especially when you try to convert things to US dollars and all that. But someone here that is doing this has enough funds to buy this outright for 1.8 ETH. So this is not someone who is just trying to make a meal. This is someone who is very strategic. This is like a mastermind business operation. I'm like, this is just so messed up. And I'm a true and firm believer of whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. And this is the type of thing that really just disgusts me. And when people are speaking about, oh, there's a whole bunch of scamming and all sorts of things in this space and there's a bunch of scammers, this is the type of behavior that really kind of supports that. This is where people get that idea. Because for whatever reason, let's say someone does have that 50 ETH and buys in this and thinks this is going to happen. Well, guess what's going to happen when they lose 48 ETH or whatever that balance actually works out to? Because if they end up just getting upset and trying to sell it for what it's worth, probably around 2 ETH. So basically, they're going to be out of 48 ETH, right? That is absolutely ridiculous. What do you think that person's going to do? Going to spread bad news and say all sorts of crazy things, going to be very upset with the situation. And this is totally messed up, right? And this is someone who obviously has the money, because if you have 50 ETH to buy this thing and fall into it, well, first of all, some people will say, well, that person's an idiot. They would have parted ways with their money anyways. You know that saying, a fool and their money will soon part ways. Well, that is not the right attitude for this. And I truly believe that this is not a good look, right? If this thing goes through and someone really gets burned with this, it's like, man, this is really messed up. So what I decided to do is I put out a tweet about it, just a thread, just explaining this. But of course, I know some people don't like to read. So then I just did a screenshot, a video kind of warning people about this. And I was like, you know what? There's still some more I could do. And I was like, I'm going to turn this into a podcast episode. I'm going to put it up here. And I have to just get it out here because I don't want anyone to fall victim to this, because I love Web3, right? I truly believe that this is the future. And stuff like this is what's holding us back from being able to invite more people into it. This is the type of stuff that makes the headlines and the reporters love to run with. So I don't want anyone to fall victim to this thing. And I just definitely want you to say, if anything sounds too good to be true, just definitely run away from it. I mean, most likely it is too good to be true, because thinking that anyone could just simply make 48 ETH just like that is oh man, it is just very sad. Because thinking that you're going to get 150,000+ from a sale, and when you only end up getting maybe 3,000, that is just horrible. And hopefully whoever's trying to pull this one is someone that gets found out, because this is the type of thing I hate to see. But, you know, I don't want to just harp on this and be all negative, but I just want to tell you to be safe, do your research. Something's too good to be true. It probably is. And God forbid you are someone who has been scammed, fallen victim to one of these things. I would say keep your head up. It happens to a lot of people. Hopefully you just learn from your mistake. And my heart really goes out to you, because, man, that sucks. I could not imagine losing that much, especially if you're someone who really overextended yourself to get into that position. I mean, yeah, that is really, really rough. But back to more positive news and better things. It's a good time to say that I also have a newsletter, niftybusinessweek.com, where I cover some stories, some just very cool things that probably wouldn't make it into a full episode. I go through some articles. I usually discuss a topic in the main section of the newsletter, and that's absolutely free. I've been doing that now for about 40-something issues. If you're a person that's really on Twitter, you can just see that right at the top of my profile at Tropic Vibes. You can sign up for that, or as I said, at niftybusinessweek.com. But either way, I'm excited that you are here, a part of this, as we learn and build Web3 together. So until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.